Up next, we celebrate one of heavy metal's greatest voices, and storytellers for that matter. Though the legend is no longer with us, we do get the story behind his masterpiece from his friends and bandmate in an exclusive interview next on Professor of Rock. Hey music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. I tell you what, if you love music and you're interested in the stories of the songs, the history straight from the artist, you're going to want to subscribe below so you never miss an episode of our daily features celebrating the best of the rock era. And make sure to check us out on Patreon to become an insider with us with more material as well. It's time for another edition of our series, Revelations, where featured artists reveal rare stories about their greatest songs and albums. You know, when I was growing up, I discovered metal as a young kid. And that discovery was both exhilarating and also scary. My mind was blown by the music of shredding guitars and otherworldly vocals, but I was scared into avoiding it like the plague by the adults around me who called it devil music. The good old satanic panic of the 80s. You know, this actually made me want to listen to it even more. It made me more curious, and it made the music even that much more mysterious. When I explored it very deeply, and I listened to the lyrics and pored over the album art and the liner notes, which I did all the time, I found that the overly religious adults who judged it so harshly, you know, the false alarms and hollow predictions of the devil having sway through the music, the psycho and manic satanic panic was a complete myth built on the foundations of assumption and unsupported suspicions. Fake news, if you will, especially when it came to Dio's Holy Diver. I think parents heard the music and looked at the album cover. They just made a snap judgment and it simply didn't match the facts. This was also the times of role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons. Video games. Also, the Lord of the Rings animated film had come out in the late 70s, and it was on VHS. We watched it all the time, and then that popularized the books even more after. That was a reason that bands like Zeppelin and Sabbath and Ozzy Solo and Dio resonated with me and other 80s kids. They had roots in fantasy. Dio's Holy Diver was definitely a product of this fantasy. Dio had that when he was with Sabbath. You know, the themes of madness and desolation. I've read that Dio read a lot of Sir Walter Scott, Arthurian tales, and science fiction when he was a boy, and he used fantasy lyrics in his early 1970s band that was called Elf. Dio once said in an interview that this influenced by his youthful reading, he said, and I quote, "When I became a songwriter, I thought what better thing to do than do what no one else is doing, to tell fantasy tales. Smartest thing I ever did," end of quote. Holy Diver has been misinterpreted, really since day one, by overly cautious parents. Its meaning has been debated by metalheads since its release. Dio himself refused to elaborate on its true meaning. Dio has said that the lyrics are about a Christ-like figure, actually, on another planet who sacrifices himself to redeem his people. And when the people learn that he intends to leave them to save people on other planets, they selfishly ask him to stay. Not really devil music there. Holy Diver, you're the star of the masquerade. The album cover, depicting a demon-like figure drowning a priest, it's also been misjudged. Dio did at times suggest that the artwork doesn't actually depict the demon named Murray drowning a priest, but a priest drowning the monster. Many have interpreted this as Dio, as implying that the priest is the evil one in this scenario, possibly guilty of corruption or even a pedophile. There's actually a graphic novel coming out that goes into detail on the story of Holy Diver, and it's being done with Dio's estate, with their cooperation. Should be cool. On this episode of Revelations, though, we focus on the stories behind the recording of Holy Diver and memories of a Ronnie James Dio legend, with an exclusive Zoom session with the Appice brothers, drummers Carmine and Vinny. Carmine, the eldest, was a co-founder of early psychedelic rock band Vanilla Fudge. He also played with the Power Trio, Beck, Bogert, and Appice, as well as Rod Stewart and Ozzy Osbourne. Actually helped write a few of Rod's biggest hits. King Cobra was also part of that and more. Vinny worked with John Lennon, Rick Derringer, and then he took over when Bill Ward quit Black Sabbath, as many of you know, and then left with Ronnie James Dio to form Dio, playing on the first 5 classic albums, including Holy Diver, which is covered here. As we go into this interview, I do want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear today. I'm wearing my red and black pair here. If you go to Zenni.com, you can design a pair of glasses, sunglasses, or blue blocks. You can see how you look before you buy it through their 3D virtual try-on. That's what I did. You just put in your prescription and they deliver them right to your door. It's amazing. Here's the interview. Vinny, you and Dio left Sabbath in 1982. What led to that departure? Was that a tough decision to leave Sabbath? Tell me about that time, if you don't mind.
Well, at that time, the band, I'm talking about Ronnie, Tony, and Geezer, they weren't seeing eye to eye. They weren't getting along that well. Nothing musical. And then Ronnie always had a solo deal from Warner Brothers on the side. And the first thing he wanted to do was do a solo album with a whole bunch of friends and different people guesting on the record. But when things turned a little sour with Sabbath, he decided, well, I'm going to put a band together and do my own band. I got a record deal, and it's a great springboard to launch a career of my own. So he approached me, said, I'm going to leave the band, and would you like to join me? And you know, I love Tony and Geezer. I love the music. I love Ronnie. I'm the guy in the middle. But I thought it would be easier to work with Ronnie. We were both in California. We got along really well, and it would be exciting to start something new with such a great singer. So I decided to stay with Ronnie, you know, and I called Tony and Geezer and told them. But it was a difficult decision, obviously. I mean, it's two pretty big things, you know, and that's how we started. And it was just me and him at the rehearsals for the very beginning. He played bass, and that's how it worked, you know.
You worked on 5 great albums together, including one of the greatest heavy metal records ever recorded in Holy Diver. Tell me about that, 1983 Holy Diver.
Well, Holy Diver we did at Sound City Studios, like the Dave Grohl movies, that's the studio. And we rehearsed there because they had a U-shaped building, and on one side was rehearsal, the other side was the recording studio. So we'd go in the rehearsal side, and we were there for about 2 months, and we wrote songs. We were there every night at 7 o'clock. And all we did, you know, we would jam and write songs. We smoked a lot of pot, and they would drink Jim Beam, bourbon and Cokes, and it was like a boys club. And we'd destroy the place. You know, we had, you know, anybody wanted candy, we just smacked the machine on the wall until it dropped all the candy out. You know, we just put holes in the walls, and they let us do anything there. It was really cool. And then when we were ready, yeah, we even did, the guy in the front office of the rehearsal place, Brett Newman was his name.
Brett, yeah.
And he had the whole little office with a lamp, a phone, a TV, the papers, the desk, the chair. And we asked him, hey, Brett, can you go get us some beer down at the corner there, you know? And he goes, yeah, what do you want? And we give him money, and he'd go. And when he left, we put his whole office out in the parking lot with the light on it. This was at night. The light was on. The exact same thing out in the parking lot.
Oh, he never told me that. That's funny.
Oh, yeah. And then we'd run inside, lock the door, and rehearse. You know, I told him to leave the beer outside. And then he'd have to put it all back. And then one time the Fudge were rehearsing there. And we took a break, and I said to Ronnie, let's put all the cases up so they can't get out. So we did that, too. We put all the cases, we all got out, piled them all the way up to the ceiling so they couldn't get out of the room. They'll go to the bathroom. So we left them there.
Remember that?
So that's the kind of vibe was going on. And when we jammed, it was like, yeah, that's cool, man. We play it. Ronnie get up and start singing some melodies off the cuff, you know. It was that loose, you know, and that's how we put those songs together because it was a lot of fun. It was a great vibe, a lot of fun. Then when we were ready, we lifted everything up, you know, like cymbals on a stand. We didn't break anything down, and we rolled everything across to the studio, and we recorded the songs there. But our friend Angelo, who was our sound guy in Sabbath, he came along with this project, and he became the engineer for Holy Diver. He recorded everything for the next 3 or 4 albums. But there were things that went on, like we had a Tascam recorder, 4-track cassette, and we'd play something one night and go, man, that's really cool, record it. And then, yeah, we were smoking a lot of pot and everything. Next night we come in, we're smoking pot. We go, Angelo, play that riff we have. We want to work on it. So he puts it in backwards. So the riff played backwards. So now we start goofing on him because he's stoned and he put the thing in wrong, and we're all sitting here listening to it. But then after about a couple seconds, we go, wait a minute, that's pretty good. And we said, yeah, that is good. So we took that riff, we learned it backwards. And we put it with the frontwood riff, and it's a song called Invisible on the Holy Diver record. So we were open for anything, you know. One time, I don't even know if you know this, Carmine, we were recording, so my drums are in front of the glass, facing Ronnie singing and Vivian and Jimmy. And Carmine comes in the control room, and Ronnie goes, we finished for a minute, and he goes, look behind you. And I look, and there's Carmine. Then I told Ronnie, I said, that's cool, look behind you. So it's on the record.
Wow.
Mixed
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Look behind you. And it's in one of the songs. and then we said, with Sabbath, Ronnie and I with Sabbath, they go, everybody accused the band of putting backward shit on there and go kill yourself and the devil's going to come out and all that. Everybody kept bringing that up. So I told Ronnie, I said, why don't we put something backwards on Holy Diver and see what they say? So on the last song on the album called Shame on the Night, the fade out, all of a sudden this voice comes on and goes, right? And what it is Ronnie said, crucify the diver, and we put it backwards. Mixed it into the song you could hear it, and nobody said fucking shit. Nobody knew, you know? So when you did it, nobody said anything. When you didn't do it, people are assuming these guys are totally evil. Some backward shit on there.
Right.
So you're in there, Carmine.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He said, look behind you. Like, oh, shit, what's behind me? I don't know.
Yeah, big brother.
So that's the way that album was put together. Then we recorded 4 tunes, brought everything back, and did the whole thing again. And then when we were ready, we did the other 4 songs the same way. So it was just a lot of fun. We were just having a ball. We didn't think we'd make anything but a really good record. Nobody thought this is going to become a classic rock album and 40 years later still be selling. So that's what happened.
Holy diver, you've been down too long in the midnight sea.
And that it shows that everybody was happy and everybody was having fun. The music shows for it.
Well, let's transition into the tribute. Let's talk about Ronnie James Dio. You know, Vinny, playing with Sabbath, you forged a strong camaraderie with Ronnie. Besides his incredibly powerful voice, what separated, in your mind, Dio from other musicians that you've worked with?
I never played with any singer that's incredible, first of all. And also, for a singer, he was a nice guy, down to earth. As we all know, that's not always the always the norm, you know?
That is right.
So, Ronnie was like down to earth, and it was really a cool thing. Like, you sit down and talk to Ron, and he was like another brother, you know, the other brother.
He was part of our family. He used to come to our Christmases and holidays and hang out with the family, and you know,
come to my house and play poker with his parents and shit.
Yeah,
you know?
we would. I met him like before Vinny. I met him like when I started.
When he was at Rainbow, right?
When he was in Rainbow, yeah. And they asked me to join Rainbow. I knew him from those days. And I think I met him when he was in Elf, when he was opening up for Deep Purple, because Deep Purple were good friends of ours. And when they played L.A., I believe they opened up for, and I met Ronnie back then. But you know, what separates Ronnie from other singers also is he's a great lyricist. You know, great lyrics. melodies and lyrics were really great all the time.
Another thing a lot of people don't know is he never warmed up. He was backstage. Right before the show, I'd go to his dressing room and we'd hang out. There would be people there. He's having a drink. And then they come in and go, okay, we got to go. And we'd walk on stage. And usually singers warm up. Every other singer I play with try warm up some way or other, you know, some with tapes. Yeah. Even Ozzy warmed up. He had the vocal tape going. And
he did? Not when I was with him.
Yeah, well, later on he had the vocal tape going, you know. Da 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 da, that kind of shit.
I did that for a minute, but you know, Rod Stewart never warmed up either, and Mark Stein from Vanilla Fudge has an amazing voice, never warms up.
Yeah, but we were playing on 12. You know, and going out, starting with Mob. We were starting with Mob Rules, Tony Iommi with 3 stacks of amps all on, and Geezer with a wall. I mean, it's just I don't know how he did it.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Carmine, you've called him, I've read that you've called him the best heavy metal singer ever, in your opinion.
I think so, yeah. I would think. Because most of the heavy metal singers really can't sing, a lot of them. You know, especially those 80s guys, a lot of them can't sing. You know, I mean, Ronnie was a great soul singer, man. He was soul. He had soul, you know, because he grew up, he was in that age, you know, like my age, that, you know, we listened to rock, but we listened to soul music too. You know,
wow,
and it's cool. And you know, getting to this thing that we're doing this week. You know, when we did our album, me and Vinny, I had the song that we wrote for a King Cobra record that we didn't use, and the singer on that record was Paul Shortino, and we wrote the song, and we were calling the song "Monsters and Heroes," right? And originally we had, you know, monsters and hero kind of lyrics, comic book heroes and Superman and Batman and Frankenstein's lyrics that went with that. And then one day Paul said, you know, I'd like to write this about Ronnie James Dio and all the monsters and heroes in his music. I said, wow, that's a great idea. So he did. He changed the lyrics. We had all the melodies, you know, and I'm not sure. I think I came up with the melody for the chorus. And we wrote it, and we played a gig at Sweden Rock Festival, and we played that song with King Cobra. And we had the whole audience singing Monsters and Heroes. So when we didn't release it on our album because I wanted to keep, on the King Cobra album, I wanted to keep that song separate. And I had given it to Wendy Dio as a song for her charities for Ronnie, you know. And then when the song came back to me, it was when me and Vinny were doing our album. And I said to Vinny, you know, we got this great song. It's all about Ronnie, you know, and with you playing with Ronnie, me being Ronnie's friend, Ronnie was like part of our family. And Paul Shortino played with Ronnie, was managed by Ronnie, was real close with Ronnie. You know, it's a natural to get Paul to sing it. And we already got the track cut. We'll add you to the track. So it'll be King Cobra with Vinny, with Paul Shortino. And we'll do this song, and it'd be a great song for our record. So Vinny agreed, so we did it. And we played it live at every gig, and people loved the song. So so the other day, Vinny comes up with this idea, Vin.
I said, well, did I come up with that idea of doing the video?
Yeah, you came up with the idea.
I guess I did. Each day seems the same now with this.
Yeah, I know. It's like
going on.
It's Groundhog Day.
I said, why don't we do one of those Brady Bunch videos, you know, where we're all on the screen at once playing, but we're playing together, but we recorded it separately. So Carmine liked the idea. And then we realized Ronnie's anniversary of his 10 years passing is coming up.
But we didn't realize that till after we recorded it all.
Yeah, we recorded it all. I did my drums first, and I sent it to the guitar player. He laid the guitar, sent it to Carmine. He put the drums down. You know, we did it that way with the video, which is a pain in the ass. And then we realized, holy shit, next week's his anniversary. So this could be a great tribute to him. It's something that we've never done before. And it's kind of in style now to do these videos this way. So we did put it together. It should be ready the next day or so. We'd like to promote that, by the way. Maybe we could send you a link when we have it. And it's just going to say tribute to Ronnie James Dio. We miss you, brother. You know, something like that. It's been 10 years. And it'll be cool. Me and Carmine will be playing together, and it's our live band. Which is a really, really good band, and these guys kicked ass, you know.
Yeah, I got Jim Crean on vocals, Artie Dillon on guitar, James Caputo on bass, and you know we tour with these guys all the time, and it's just a kick-ass, really great band.
Really good, yeah.
Well, as you guys were saying that Ronnie was a friend of the family and spent Christmases together with you, went to your bachelor party, right?
Carmine. That's right, he did. That's right.
And your wedding.
Yeah, one of them.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think is Ronnie's finest hour? What was a song or songs that you just think were
that first album, that whole first album? I think is his finest.
Which first album?
Your first album,
oh.
Holy Diver.
Yeah, that, and then if you look at the song Heaven and Hell, it's like, wow,
great song.
Talk about epic, amazing.
Epic, that's what I mean. Great lyrics, great melodies, you know?
Yeah.
No, the master, like Rod Stewart, great melodies, great lyrics all the time. Ronnie James Dio, great melodies, great. Like Ozzy, Bob Daisley wrote most of his melodies and lyrics. Yeah. And all those big albums, Bob Daisley wrote all that stuff. You know? So
it looks like you won't work with Ozzy again now.
Oh, no, not anymore. I've
Maybe
been
Rod.
talking. Huh?
Maybe Rod. You said he was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Rod wrote the intro to my book, so I'm good friends with Rod again. You know.
No, that's good.
Last question for you guys. As brothers, what is your favorite performance by the other? Like Carmine, what is your favorite Vinny performance? And Vinny, what is your favorite Carmine performance?
One of my favorites for Vinny is We Rock.
Yeah, We Rock.
I love We Rock. I love where he played it. Great fills, great concept, and the snare drum instead of just, regular playing. I could say that with that equal would Stand Up and Shout for me.
Yeah. And Carmine, this is going back, but the first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. Totally animal on the drums.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that video is everybody that was on Ed Sullivan Show prior to that, like the Doors, Jefferson Airplane, the bass player and the drummer just played and sat there. You guys came on, and his sticks are going all over the place, arms in the air, playing, the floor tom and the snare together, and Timmy just killing it. Yeah. You guys killing it together. That's unbelievable, that stuff.
Yeah, it was.
And to this day, Carmine just kicks ass. Still kicking ass.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Tell us your thoughts on Ronnie James Dio and the metal classic Holy Diver. What are your memories of the satanic panic of the 80s? I want to hear about that. If you like our content, we do invite you to subscribe. Also, own this album. We provided a purchase link below, and make sure to check out our Patreon to become an insider. Stay tuned for more episodes of Artist Revelations coming at you. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends. Stay safe out there.